It's the extremist movie debate. And tonight, we're talking 2016's Nocturnal Animals.
I am Joe.
I'm Ethan, and one of us is going to love it, one of us is going to hate it.
Let the coin decide their fate.
I hate it.
I love it. And hey guys, don't just harbor some sort of resentment for years and years and years and then write a novel about how much you fucking hate us. There are spoilers ahead.
All right, in this movie...
On the fly.
All right, and this movie has
Wait,
a 72%, you love it, has a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means it's certified fresh. And Joe, since you love it, this first question comes from you. This comes from Glenn Lovell of cinemadope.com.
Okay.
We got it now.
All right.
Glenn Lovell?
Glenn Lovell.
I know him.
Yeah, he says, Nocturnal Animals is based on a novel I haven't read by Austin Wright. Whatever the book's virtues and fallings, I'll wager it makes more sense than Ford's stutter step distillation, which at once is disquieting and unsatisfying. So, can you really fault a movie's quality based on the source material without actually knowing the source and just making base assumptions? You have 1 minute.
No. You can't do that. Because who knows what the book is. And really, like, it just sounds like he didn't like it because, like, I'm sorry, could you, like, repeat, like, just paraphrase why he didn't like it?
That question was more of an attack at Glenn Lovell than it was the movie, I'll give you that.
So his whole review is based on that he hasn't read the book, but assumes the movie and the book are the exact same thing. So he hates the movie and the book.
So okay. So the dude just didn't like the movie because it seemed stutter step. It seemed like cobbled together, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think, I guess I can see what he's going for, but I think the bigger picture, the bigger theme of what Tom Ford is doing with this movie is essentially trying to get to the truth of a matter through fiction. Like, a teacher of mine always used to say nonfiction's more concerned about the facts, whereas fiction is more concerned about the truth. And I think that speaks volumes. And essentially, through fiction, you're trying to get a greater truth that are more honest than you are with nonfiction because you're stuck, tangled up in all of these facts. So really, like, you can't really fault a movie on a novel you haven't read.
Okay, I'm going to have to cut you off there. Ethan, you have 30 seconds to respond.
Look, I'll give you that sometimes the fiction has more truth than reality, except that in this particular case, in this movie, that fiction is far more interesting than the reality. And so it's one thing if you want to look at the deep symbolism of it all, which is stupid and pretentious, but if you want to actually talk about this movie as two movies in one, you've got all Amy Adams and Jake Gyllenhaal just being writers and rich art people, and then you've got Jake Gyllenhaal and his whole family getting raped and murdered. Interesting. That one is interesting. That's all, hell or high water, No Country for Old Men. I want to watch that story. This other one, I don't care about at all. And that's the problem with this movie.
Okay, Ethan, I'm going to stop you there. Joe, you have 15 seconds to respond.
But again, that's the thing. How he feels is his whole family getting murdered, is the fiction of the movie. And also, there was an inaccuracy. They were not rich because he was a writer and they were poor, and that was why they split up, essentially.
Did I say he was a rich writer?
Yes, you did.
I apologize.
Okay, and Ethan, you have 15 seconds to close out.
Yeah, but the fact is that, sure, that you're talking about the symbolism, that's how he feels. But the point is that make a whole movie about that because that is a lot more interesting. If we're talking about the ultimate point of that story is to add some sort of level to the other story of reality.
You have
no one cares
Joe,
about that other story.
You have both stories.
Joe, please do not interrupt. Ethan, I'll give you 10 seconds to finish out that thought.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Cool, I'll take it. So yeah, if you're talking about how one elevates the other, yes, suck it. If one elevates the other, haha, then nobody cares about the real life Amy Adams, Jake Gyllenhaal at all, and so adding to that story is moot.
What?
Thank you.
That's funny how Ethan got 30 seconds for his 15-second question. How is that fair? How is that fair? I'm sitting over here for 10 minutes waiting to talk, and Ethan's over there just yammering on about whatever.
What a nasty man.
Hyperbole. And Joe, I'm going to have to ask you to stop interrupting.
Okay, I apologize.
I appreciate that. Okay, and Ethan, this question is for you. This comes from Kelly Vance of EastBayExpress.com. She says, as good as Adams and Gyllenhaal are in the lead roles, they're eclipsed by master scene stealer Michael Shannon as Texas police detective Bobby Andes, dying of lung cancer but full of piss and vinegar. Shannon makes even okay dialogue sound brilliant, and his facial expressions rival most novels in the good read category. So how does Michael Shannon's acting stack up against the leads, and did he really make the film that much better? You have 1 minute.
I mean, No, he did not make the film that much better. Did Michael Shannon do an excellent job? Always. Michael Shannon is the best part of everything. He's the only good thing about Premium Rush next to the Raconteurs being on the soundtrack. Michael Shannon is excellent. No, you liked Premium Rush, Jeff!
That movie's delightful.
Fuck off. So, Michael Shannon, solid, always. The problem is that he is a side character to Jake Gyllenhaal and Amy Adams, who Jake Gyllenhaal does, a mediocre job. He's upstaged by Isla Fisher in the fictional part of the story. And then you look at Amy Adams, Jake Gyllenhaal in the, realistic, quote-unquote, part of the story, and they're just boring and dog shit and artificial. They feel like they belong, well, at least Amy Adams in her entire life feels like it belongs in the capital of Pan Am. It's just stupid. We've literally seen that 4 times with other stupid tween movies. We don't care, in the last couple years, I mean. So, yeah, having Michael Shannon stand out in this movie doesn't actually mean a whole lot. It just means that the rest of the movie is weak.
Okay, thank you. Joe, you have 30 seconds to respond.
No, Michael Shannon is a great part of this movie, but so is Aaron Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson nails it in this movie. And and Jake Gyllenhaal consistently does good stuff. Consistently does good things. So really, you're looking at Jake Gyllenhaal, and he has to play a subdued character because that's the character he's playing. So his performance isn't going to be in your face like Michael Shannon's is. He doesn't have the opportunity to flex his muscles. Same thing with Amy Adams. They don't have the opportunity to flex their acting muscles like Michael Shannon's able to.
Okay, Joe, I'm going to have to cut you off there. Ethan, you have 15 seconds to respond.
So you're agreeing that part of this movie is very poorly written and does not give people the ability to actually stand out and portray a decent and, somewhat relatable and enjoyable character. Instead, everybody is subdued and blah.
Okay, thank you, Ethan. Joe, you have a final 15
I think that's what you just said.
No, I do not agree with that because basically...
That's what the feeling was.
Hey,
what you said.
This isn't the open forum, so shut the fuck up.
Let's watch the language.
So I think, here's the thing about my buddy Ethan. He doesn't get that the real life is supposed to be subdued and muted. That's the point of it. So the movie itself, is if you're watching the movie as a whole, you're watching it in parts, and parts have certain tones that play off of one another. So all he wants is the action and the sex and the drugs and all of that. That's all he wants. And he's not looking at the big picture.
Joe, I'm sorry, that is your time. We're going to move on to the open floor, and you guys have 4 minutes to discuss back and forth. And go.
I mean, I want a movie where it's not...
What you want is another Magnificent Seven. You want another fucking Expendables movie. You don't care about
I didn't see either
quality.
of those.
You're not talking about. You're not looking at the artistic quality of it and how each part plays off of one another and each part heightens and transcends.
No. See, I understand that, but the problem is that the part of this movie that we're supposed to feel, dirty about, the part that's real, quote unquote. Those are the parts where the characters have even come out in this movie and said everything about their lives is shit. It's superficial. It's stupid. It's fake. Nobody cares. So I also don't care. And so when we tell this other very compelling story within the story that actually is supposed to elevate the other one, I don't care about the other one. In fact, I'm only invested in half of this movie, and that's the problem, is that this movie is supposed to build to a bigger whole, but the bigger whole is stupid, and the smaller part is the most interesting part.
I disagree, because, you would not have that more interesting part of the movie if it wasn't for the other part. You need the other part, and the other part makes the interesting part of the movie even more interesting, knowing the symbolism behind it and knowing what actually builds that and the emotions involved in creating that piece of art.
No, the other part is interesting. The other part ends with, a climax where is he going to shoot Aaron Taylor Johnson? Is he not going to? It's rough. It's dirty. So the climax of the real part is, does he show up to dinner or not?
So does he show up to shoot her or does he not? It's the exact same question.
No, I get what they're doing, but I feel it's dumb. It doesn't actually have...
Ethan feels it's dumb, so I guess it's just dumb.
It doesn't have emotional weight. Essentially, you're saying that everybody has this crazy family gets raped, I'm gonna go run and kill everybody. Inner monologue going with their day-to-day lives. And for one, I feel like that's insulting. Two, I feel like that, again, is going to help out a story that just does not stand on its own. Well, because it's just saying that everybody is, this coward inside. And their day-to-day lives, we have this inner coward who does not stand up for his family, who does not want to go and seek vengeance.
Everybody has
pushed to the brink where he's just in that moment of life or death and then chooses to shoot. And it's only in that moment where you're pushed to that brink that all of a sudden you can stand for something, that you can be something. And that's all this movie is doing.
You don't think that he was trying to stand up for his family after his family was killed
Absolutely
with Michael
not.
Shannon?
No. Absolutely not.
Even though he shot Kick-Ass and all of that, you still don't...
He shot Kick-Ass at the end after Kick-Ass was going to kill him. Kick-Ass lunges at him, and then he shoots him in the face or whatever it was. It doesn't matter. Oh, no, he shoots him in the chest because then Kick-Ass shoots him, and then he dies.
He doesn't... No, Kick-Ass doesn't shoot him. He hits him with a crowbar. Watch the fucking movie,
No, it wasn't
guy.
a crowbar. It was a little fire poker.
No, it was a tire iron.
Was it really? Fuck.
Yeah, watch the movie.
Are we getting this blurred up with the invitation? Are you sure?
I am positive.
Okay, cool. Great.
Fire poker? Why would he have a fire poker in a shitty shack?
I'm pretty sure he had a fire poker.
Definitely did not have a fire poker.
Why would he have a tire iron in a shitty shack?
Because you actually drive a car to a shitty shack. There's no fireplace in the shitty shack.
There might be. Did we see the entirety of the shack?
We did. We saw the tiny little mobile shack that could just kick it over if you wanted.
I don't think that we saw an establishing shot of the interior of the shack at all. I feel like we enter the shack and we go right to Aaron Taylor Johnson's bed.
There is no fire poker in the shitty shack.
I don't know. I think we have to rewatch it and then we'll fight about that. All right, but
All right, I'm gonna have to stop you guys there.
I don't want to rewatch it.
you loved this movie. You don't want to rewatch it? That's a flaw.
Let's talk about how you guys really feel.
Ooh, I loved this movie. It's fantastic.
It's all right.
It has moments of extreme artsy-fartsy pretentious bullshit, but it works in this movie because this movie exists in that world of artsy-fartsy pretentious bullshit. The real story does anyways. Do you disagree with that? I mean, I feel like this movie is making a big statement. Tom Ford, who, you know, came as a fashion designer and came up in sort of this world, is lampooning the fuck out of this world at the same time he's making this movie. And that resonates because you see these people that, yeah, do look like the capital of Pan Am, that they are also real people. They do have these real emotions, and something as simple as showing up to dinner or not can be the climax of that story. And that is important because that's what makes this relatable to other people.
No, I agree to an extent, but like pretty much everything you were arguing, like not to that extreme, but I agree with all of that. And
that's the fiction's way cooler, isn't it?
That's my problem with the movie is it's weighted towards the fiction, so I just have a hard time kind of buying into the actual like real story of it, which is fine. Like I think this is a really well-made movie. Like Tom Ford, for being like a fashion designer, has made 2 really great movies, but I just didn't. This one didn't take me as much as A Single Man. I just,
That's fair.
I don't know. It just seemed way too uneven for me to completely buy into it. But Michael Shannon, 100% elevates.
Yeah.
Like he's the best part of this movie.
Yes,
followed by Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Everybody else did really well in this movie too. Even Isla Fisher. God bless her. God bless this movie for making the comparison between Amy Adams and Isla Fisher being the same person.
I still don't see it.
You're blind.
I don't see it.
But Amy Adams and Jake Gyllenhaal in both roles, both parts of this movie, well, Jake Gyllenhaal in both parts, but still, they do a great job. They do exactly what they do. You know, Amy Adams is supposed to be cold and distant in the reality, but you see, you know, this little glimmer of life in her eyes, and that is where you connect with her, and she's able to convey that subtlety well.
What?
Jake Gyllenhaal is supposed to be tortured inside because he did not go and fight, and you see that throughout the entire part of the fiction, and you see it also in the flashbacks.
But how, like, I guess here's the thing, like, how could he have fought? Because essentially, so
he couldn't have.
Are you saying so? Amy Adams. So in real life, there's no way he could have fought for what happened.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of what it's saying in the
so in the fiction, does Amy Adams represent both his dead wife and Aaron Taylor Johnson?
I see it as like his whole family getting torn apart. I mean, there was an. Am I getting this movie confused again? There was an abortion at some point in this movie.
Yes.
Okay, great, cool.
Well, that's what it is. So Jake Gyllenhaal is fighting for his family, and essentially Amy Adams is pregnant, and then she has Armie Hammer take her to get the abortion.
That's right.
And she's like, he can never find out about this, and then they see him outside the window, and that's the last. But that's the last part. But also, I don't feel like we see enough of Jake Gyllenhaal's real, like, authorly character. We don't see him enough in this movie to have a grasp upon him. Like, all we get is his subconscious through his novel.
Which tells us that he let them get away and he regrets it. You know, as soon as Michael Shannon talks to the fake character and says, like, oh, so you didn't, you know, go fight them, you didn't, you know, he was unarmed and you didn't do anything about it, and just kind of looks at him and just, huh.
But what was he gonna,
that's Jake Gyllenhaal saying, I regret the decisions I made.
Yeah, but what was he going to do? How was he going to fight in the real world?
We don't know the circumstances of that, but we can see that we can see that he regrets it. And also in the real world, she has a daughter. Is that the daughter? Did she not go through with the abortion? That's unclear.
I don't know.
But I feel like she didn't go through with it then.
She has a.
Okay.
But I also don't feel like Armie Hammer is a good enough person.
We should really wrap
Fair
it up
enough.
here. All right. So what would you guys rate the movie?
9 out of 10. A lot of thunder, because I'm still thinking about this movie, and I saw it, like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'd give it 6.5, 7. A little bit of thunder.
All right, and where can we find you guys online?
You can find us on Twitter at Extremist Movie. You can find us on Facebook at Extremist Movie Debate, or you can email us at extremistmoviedebate@gmail.com.
You can also like and subscribe to our page, and you can comment below, and you can let us know if there's a movie coming out that you want us to talk about. Let us know that. If there's a question pertaining to that movie that you want us to answer on one of our videos, then you can also ask that, and unpaid intern Jeff there will go ahead and read it on the episode.
All right, viewers, thank you and good night.
Good luck and good night.
Thanks.